What up, guys? Welcome back to LTTW. Welcome back to Liberia to the world. If you have seen the title of this video, you probably already know what this video is about. I haven't been making videos for the past few months. Obviously, you guys know that. I do want to say, though, heartfelt thank you and appreciation to, I think, 3 or 4 of you guys that reached out to me through emails, and a couple of you guys commented on one of our previous videos asking about if everything was okay, asking about me and my health and everything like that. So I do want to say thank you. I appreciate you guys. When I have the time on my next video, I will find you guys' YouTube name and tag it and put it on the screen. So I want to start off by saying thank you to the few of you guys who reached out to me. Of course, again, you guys all know I haven't been making videos in the past few months, and you see the title of this video already. So that's what this video is about. It's a video that it took me a long time to make, and to come up here and really express how I feel and kind of like reasons behind my decision making and things like that. Now, the title of this video is I Quit. And some of you may be wondering why I quit, and quit what, right? Of course, if I make this title on YouTube, that implies that I quit YouTube. But the truth is, I quit leaving YouTube for longer period of time. Of course, you already know I cannot quit YouTube. I cannot abandon you guys on this family. Most of you probably already noticed it right away when you started watching this video. What's good, guys? I'm excited to be back. The excitement is real. Let's get into today's video, guys. So today's video, of course, I've been gone for a long time, so I'm not coming back. Today's video is not going to be so much about a specific topic. Although one thing I like, and I always love it, is storytelling, right? When I watch YouTube, I watch a lot of YouTube, and one thing I like my YouTube content creator to do is tell stories about something personal and stuff like that. I feel like it's just going to be a little more connection, right? As I'm going along with this channel. Oh, one thing, we're almost at 10,000 subscribers, guys. You guys see in the subscriber counts, we're pretty much about going towards 9,000. You know, I kind of want to exaggerate a little bit, but about 9,000 subscribers. Appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much from my heart. No joke at all. I appreciate you guys. So let's push this. Let's get to 10,000. It's going to be a milestone. We want to do something amazing for our 10,000 subscriber count. We're going to be consistent. Every time I come up here, I said I'm going to be consistent. Every time I said I'm going to be consistent. But so we're almost at that 10,000 subscriber. So just kind of help us get to that number by sharing the video, subscribing. If you haven't yet, you haven't subscribed yet. I know personally you haven't subscribed yet. So if you haven't done so, just click the button. Just click the button. Like, I don't know, you want for me to be cooking tobagi or fufu to be mailing out to you, or saying your kids me barbecue or golden plum or sour or quiso. I don't even know green plum pepper soup. I have a very unique story in Liberia. One of the weirdest things that ever happened to me. If you're somebody who believes in folklore, if you're somebody who a little bit superstitious, if you believe in supernatural and things like that, today though I'm gonna just give you a little story about the most weirdest thing that ever happened. I did mention that a little bit previously about what happened. Maybe most of you didn't catch it, but today I'm gonna talk about the full story about what happened. So if you love storytelling, if you love listening to just amazing story about back home, that's going to make you reminisce. Maybe something you've been told from your elderly parents or your grandparents or in the community. We have our personal experience. I don't know what to make of it, but I'm going to tell you guys that story. So if you're somebody who likes to listen to stories, Hey, this is what I'll say, right? Grab a popcorn, grab a drink, grab some fufu, GB, whatever it is. Bring your little cold water beside you. Grab your blanket and just make sure your phone, your iPad charged. And I'm going to tell you the story in full. So here's the story. So it was December 16, 2021. Joel and I woke up that morning. We decided, you know what? Let's go get some content. Of course, we're making content for a YouTube channel. So we grab a couple guys that usually will hang out with us, travel with us to kind of help us out and things like that. We pack our bags. And that day, destination was in Banga, Bomi. And that day, the destination was in Bomi County, all the way to the Blue Lake. Most of you guys have probably heard about it. Some of you have probably been there. Some of you have never heard about it. Or some of you have just seen it online and stuff like that. But that day, that was the day we decided to go to the Blue Lake. Our goal was to go there, capture some videos and get some content and just see the Blue Lake. You know, we've been talked about, we kind of wanted to experience it for ourselves. So we got up, we pack our bags, and it was exciting. Every time there are these road trips, I get excited because we're out in the field, we're out on the road, we get to experience the country, see new places, and just enjoy it, right? So that's what we're doing. We pack our bags, got some meal, get gas in the truck. Our guy, Jamare, hopped in the front seat, and we started going. We driving, you know, having some fun, talking, sightseeing, stopping by the wayside, you know, buying some fruits and, you know, just enjoying a road trip like you normally would. So we got all the way to Bomi after, I think, about an hour or 2 hours or so, a little over 2 hours, pretty much 2 or 3 hours drive. We got to Bomi. It was pretty much around 4 o'clock. Our goal was to go right during midday sun to see the lake. According to, you know, people who've been there, they said that's the time, the best time to get the best appearance of the lake, right? That's the time that looks the most bluest. So we try to make it as quick as we could. We'll go a little faster. The car was, you know, a little bit not all there, so we didn't want to go too fast to kind of be safe. So we're driving. We got to Bomi. We veer up the highway on this dusty road, going all the way down to the Blue Lake. Of course, we passed a few villages, and we got to a last stop, right? Where we have to normally when we're going to these sightseeing places, the car, you know, can't reach all the way to the destination, right? You either have to stop and get on bikes. So we stopped in the last village right before the Blue Lake. You know, we got down, we said, hey, let's stretch our legs. Let's get some food and things like that, right? They had a nice kobo shop, restaurant there that's sold some good food. You know, I love cassava leaves. That's my favorite food. And they were selling it. I'm like, hey, let's get some. Joel loved to swallow GB of fufu. And they have some nice one. And 3 or 4 other guys that came with us that day to help us out that usually travel with us. We got down, you know, we're in the village, a little town. We got some food. We ordered some food. They were taking forever with this food. It almost felt like they didn't want to serve us. So we were there, we're talking, you know, conversation came up, saying, hey, so where you guys are going? We're like, hey, we're here. We're trying to go and see the Blue Lake. And the lady was like, you know, lady who owned the kobo shop. She's like, what are you guys going to do? What is your purpose here? So we're like, you know, we have a YouTube channel. We're trying to get some videos and pictures and things like that. So she was like, you know what? Okay, that's good. But you guys are not from around here. You know, she mentioned the old guy. She's like, you know, but you guys have to go and see the old man before you go to the lake. And, you know, like, okay, I'm familiar. You know, that's kind of what you do customarily, traditionally. You go to a town, you see the elder, you give a little something, you know, whether it being money or gifts or whatever it is, just to acknowledge that you're there and what you're going to do. But I mean, we're Americans, man. We don't do that. So we're like, all right, you know, I talked to Joel. Joel looked at me. I looked at Joel. I was like, yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll go see the old man. Yeah, all right. And we're over there. We got our food. The food took a little long. So then we waited for a bike. So we're like, okay, we're 5 of us. We needed at least 4 bikes because Joel liked to be on his bike by himself. I'm like, I don't mind. I can be on bike by somebody else. And we needed, I think, 4 bikes. So we tried to stop some bike guys that were sitting in the area, right? We said, hey, come. And the lady was like, well, you can't just take any bike person out there. It has to be specific people who know the area and are familiar with the area. We're like, okay, that's a little strange, but I get it. Maybe the road is not that good, and there are only certain people that goes to these places. But it felt like it was more than that. It felt like it had something more to do with just something more than just knowing the road. And I had that feeling. I was like, okay, strange, but it's cool. We'll find the people. But then also, the lady reminded us, don't forget to go see the old man. Go to he called the papi name, the older guy who lived just a few blocks down behind, like a mud house, right? And so we're like, okay, we'll go see the old man. And Joel and I looked at each other like, man, I mean, we're trying to see this lake when the sun is up. We already got that little past the time we're supposed to get there. So time is running out. I'm like, bro, let's go, man. Let's just go. So we got the bikes. The man asked, so the bike guy asked us again, you see the old man? We said, no, I mean, let's just go. And it's like, you sure? He said, yeah. All right, cool, man. What is this old man gonna do? Like, yeah, maybe we're just gonna go give him money. Like, look, man, let's just go. So we got on the bike, started going down the street. And I don't know, just strange things started happening. I don't know. I don't believe in I don't know what to make of it. Okay, so I'm just gonna explain exactly what happened. So we're going down, just weird things started happening, right? The guy who the claim was the best bike driver, just the bike started shaking. The bike started shaking quite a bit. Shaking. We're going. And it stopped. Just there's no gas issue, nothing. It just stopped in the middle of the road. And right when it did, behind us, the other guys who were with us were on. The whole thing just fell down, slide on the side of the road. Fell down all the way in the grass. And I'm like, I looked behind, I was like, what the hell is going on? Like, why are all these things happening to these bikes? And the guy who was on my bike said, you know what? I mean, this is strange. This thing really doesn't happen. My bike is good. I did maintenance on it. It's full. The tank is full. I never go this road without filling the tank. And it's just a little weird. So we hop back on. I was like, started getting some strange feeling, but I'm like, whatever, man. Look, we're Americans. All right. So we got back on the bike. We started going. And the sun started going down a little bit. And as we were going, we saw this animal that just crossed in front of us. And the guy stopped. He stopped the bike. And I'm like, what's going on? I saw it. But, I mean, the road is going through the forest all the way down, right? So, of course, there are animals in the area. So it wasn't anything strange. He stopped the bike. And the other guy who was on the bike behind us stopped. And he started talking to the guy, right? But he was speaking, I don't know what language he was speaking. Gio, I don't know what language. What people are in Bumi, I don't know. I don't understand. The only language I understand is few crew. Na fuede. That's it. So the guy started talking to the guy in the language, and he started pointing to where the animals went. I'm like, this shouldn't be anything to talk about. I mean, this is a forest. You guys live around this area. I bet you see animals cross all the time. But then I asked him what's going on. He's like, he called the name. He's like, the animal that just passed here, typically, it's the animal we try to stay away from. It's a smaller animal. I'm like, is a smaller animal, probably a raccoon or whatever? I'm like, why is that? He's like, in the village, that's the animal that we try to stay away from, right? Because he said people are an animal. And, again, we're Americans. So I'm like, look, I've heard about all these things before. I've never believed in these things, right? But he said people are in animals. And typically the animal that passed is the animal that people are usually in, right? And that's why when they see that animal, they try to stay away, or like the animal, they don't really interact with the animal, right? So I'm like, bro, like, you people are getting animals now? What's going on? And Joel is Liberian, but Joel is American. Like, like all of these things don't it don't make no. He's like, bro, if somebody's in an animal, and we started making fun, started making joke, started making jokes, like, well, if somebody in an animal, then call the person, and stuff like that. And the guys, we were laughing. The guys weren't laughing at all. So I was like, and Joel and I look at each other like, this is weird. But the other guys who were on the bikes who came with us, they laughed a little bit, but they seemed a little concerned. because they live in Liberia, of course. So they seem a little bit concerned. So they're like, okay, you know what? I'm like, let's go, man. Time is running out. We gotta go. So they got on the bike. And as we're driving down the road, the guy on my bike, he kept looking around. Like, I took out my GoPro, my phone, I started filming, and I'm like, okay, maybe if something else weird happened, I can catch this on camera, right? So we're going, and he asked me again. He's like, so why you didn't see the papi? I was like, why you guys didn't see the old man? I'm like, well, we didn't have time, and like we'll see him when we'll come back. What does this really matter? He's like, yeah, we were supposed to see the papi before we started going to the place. So because this place, the people that eat animal over here, and some people that like they own and live in the lake. I'm like, what? Like this started getting weird, and he was telling me about this snake that's in the lake, right? He said there's this anaconda, a boa constrictor that live in the lake, huge, that's been living there for years. But he said there's people usually they're in that animal. They would turn into the animal, and that's typically that snake that goes there. And I'm like, what? Bro, I'm American. So I'm like, okay, again, like I'm not far removed from the tradition and the culture and this folklore and this folktales, right? I know about this. I've heard about it. I've just never lived in a remote. I've always lived in a city. So we've heard about these things, but I've never really encountered anything. So it's all just been legends, right? And like things like that. So I'm like, all right, well, cool. We started going, we're going. When we finally made it to the lake, it's a beautiful place. And we went down the hill, and you can see the lake on the left side, and you see the water is blue. It wasn't as blue as it normally would be at like around 2 or 3 when like the sun is like above. We got there after 4, pretty much going towards 5. So the lake was blue, but not too blue. So we arrived at the lake, and there were some people swimming. There were a lot of kids in the area. They're swimming around the lake and stuff like that. And as soon as we pulled up on the lake, there was a gentleman sitting in the little hut on top somewhere else. When we pulled up to the lake, and we got down, all of us got off on the bike. We went, and the guy just hopped up. He came down from the hut. He's like, oh, how you doing? What are you guys here to do? We're like, oh, we're here to film and stuff like that. He's like, oh, okay. And then he talked to the guy. He said, oh, it's okay. And they saw the papi. I'm like, what? Like, what's up with this papi? Why we got to see this papi? And he's like, no. He's like, oh. And he's like, oh, okay. He just looked at us, and he just left. He left. Like, he didn't just go by where he was sitting. He just got his stuff and just went off, and he just left. I'm like, bro, you know what? Let's get this footage and get out of here. At this point, just weird things happening now, right? Let's get out of here. Let's put this drone up, get the footage, get some pictures, and let's just go. First of all, it's getting dark, and we need to get back on these bikes and head out, right? We don't want to get dark and riding bikes in this forest, in this bush. So, all right, cool. So Joel was like, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna put the drone up, and we'll see what happens. So, normally I don't fly the drone, but I'm gonna fly the drone this time. So I put the batteries in the drone and everything. The batteries were like charged and all of that. We usually carry extra batteries. So, I put the thing in there, and the other kids were looking at us. Hey, they were like intrigued by the drone. I put the drone up, and I started flying the drone. I flew the drone towards the lake, flew it over the lake, and I reached in the middle part of the lake. And then something strange happened, and the drone controller, all of a sudden, the battery just said low. And this battery was charged, right? It was charged. And the battery just like low, started blinking, low, 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 low. I'm like, what? Like, these batteries are full. Before we leave the house, we charge these things overnight. What the hell? But I'm like, I didn't freak out because the drone has a built-in safety where when the battery is low, the drone automatically comes back to where it picks up from. Like, without you doing anything at all, it will just come back right to where it picked up from and go. The battery will never die in the air. Like, unless you override it and put it back in the air, but it'll come down by itself unless you push it back up or something, right? So I'm like, this is strange. And so I'm like, cool. And the drone is like, battery low, battery low, battery low, coming home. And the drone already in the middle part of the lake at the time. And the drone started coming back. And I was just coming back, like, This is not I'm not even lying. This is not even like exaggeration. The drone was coming back on its own and it stopped. Like I'm saying, this is like, my skin is like, goosebumps is like coming back on my skin because I'm just like remembering exactly what happened. It's just strange. The drone stopped and started going down. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, what? The drone just started going straight down. So then I looked at the controller and I override it, right? It has an option to override it where it's not automatic no more. It comes back on its own. So I press override and I pressed the home button. I started controlling the back. The drone attempted to come back and it stopped again and started going straight down. And I'm pressing the home. It went straight down in the water and straight under the water, straight down under. The footage on the drone that we've captured over the lake, I never got to see it because the drone captures the whole lake and the lake is clear. So you can kind of see a little bit under the lake. It just went down, straight down in the water, straight to the bottom. And this lake is one of the deepest lake in all of Liberia. It's so deep, almost getting to 300 foot deep. If you don't know, if you want to imagine what 300 foot deep is take the Eiffel Tower. The Eiffel Tower. You can take the Eiffel Tower and put it in the lake, take another Eiffel Tower and put it in the lake, and both of them will fit underneath the lake. That's how deep it is. So I'm like, what the hell? I'm just like, I'm lost for words. And the thing just went straight down. And I'm like, what the hell? Get it? And they're like, no, we can't get it. The lake is too deep. And the other kid in the water, he's the best swimmer. Everybody's like, oh, call this guy. He's the best swimmer. He goes under. Because there are some trees hanging over the lake and mangoes and fruits fall in the lake and goes down. Everybody's like, oh, this is the kid that goes down to the bottom and retrieve the mangoes and whatever it is. So he swims pretty good. So we called the kid. I'm like panicking. I'm like, look, can you go down and try to get this drone and da-da-da? He's like, I know, I will try. I'm going to go get it. And he pointed to the area. He went there and he went down the bottom. Like after 3 seconds, he came back up. I'm like, what, did you see anything? He's like, be better, I can't go down there. Like, what, if you see, be better, I can't go? He said, like, as soon as I go down, like my whole ear, everything just lock. And he's a good swimmer. Like he goes down further. This kid can hold his breath for a long time and goes down and gets stuff. And now he said he can't. He's like, be better, I can't help you. I can't go down there. I'm like, what? So we tried to panic. We did everything. We couldn't do anything. So we like, okay, let's head back to the village. And we went back to the village. We got back on the bike, we sped back to the village. It was getting darker. We got there and we're like, I don't know. I'm like, Joel, maybe we should. We can't go see the old man. I don't know. I don't know. But I'm just explaining. I don't know what's going on. You guys help me out. Comment below and let me know what you're thinking so far. So we got back to the village and they're like, okay, so we explained it to the lady. The lady's like, all right. Like you wish it sounded like as if, well, this is what you get. So we're like, can anybody in this village swim that goes down? And that was one of the time I clicked the name Eric. And in Liberia, Eric is Eric. So I'm like, they're like, Eric, Eric can go down there. I'm like, what is Eric? It's like, is that Eric? Yeah, Eric. Yeah, okay. So Eric is the only guy in the village that can go down to the lake. And the people are telling me Eric is the guy he's an animal, right? So he can change into an animal and go down. And that's what he does. People are like, well, at night, Eric would go down to the lake and change into an animal and goes down and retrieve fruit and other things like that. He stays down there forever. So Eric can do it. But like, well, Eric can't do it in you guys' presence, right? So you got to find Eric, and Eric will go there at night to try to retrieve your drone. Joy is like, man. So the man seen animal. Joy is like, I gotta see this guy in this animal. Like, this guy was crazy. He's like, bro, charge this camera, get the GoPro, get the phone. I want to see the man in the animal. Like, he's got to get in the animal and go down. I want to record it. We'll put it on YouTube. But like, no, he's got to do it on his own. So we'll look for Erie in the village. We'll look for Erie. We sat there for like 2 hours. It was dark. We look for Erie. We couldn't find Eric. Somebody came back to us and said, oh, they saw Eric earlier. Eric said he was coming to call Eric on his phone. Eric said he's coming, but then Eric just didn't show up. Later on that evening before we left, they said Eric was in jail. Like, that's just another story. I don't know why he was in jail or whatnot, but he was in jail. So we got in our car. We started heading back to town. It was already dark now. So we're like, oh man, it's dark. Of course, we all know there's no lights on the road in Liberia now, or that side of the town, not everywhere. There are lights in other places of Liberia, you know, in the city, but we're all the way out in the outskirts, right? So we got back on the road and we started going. We going. Look, all of these things I'm talking, it's not exaggeration. So we're going, right? We're driving, we're talking about amongst ourselves. It's just, everything was just strange. Like the whole trip is just strange. So we're talking amongst ourselves, and we're explaining everything that happened. And then we hear on the car, like, boom, underneath the car, like, what is going on? And the car started shaking. That's what we're driving. Oh, geez. And the guy driving pulled off. Our guy, he pulled off to the side of the road. We got down, and underneath the car, the entire axle is just broke. We have not even gotten far from the village. All right, that's where we started panicking. And the thing about it though is, like, the guy who was driving us, he's well known, right? And like, he's well known. People know he's not afraid of nothing. He knows everything that goes in the country, whether it being superstitious or anything. But then this guy looks scared now. That's when I got scared, because when I saw him, he looked scared. He's telling us, well, we're not far from this village. And now the car, just the tire axle just broke off. Like, it's literally hanging there. He's like, we got to get out of here. I look at Joel. We look at each other. We're like, okay, this is getting everybody in the car. Everybody face changed. We're talking about what happened, laughing a little bit. Now nobody's laughing. And we're like, okay, this is getting serious. So we out there. My heart started pounding. Joel's, the guy who was driving, and like, the thing about it is, like, I felt like this guy knows something we didn't know. Like, you know, if you don't know, like, if you're oblivious to something, like kids, right? Children do dangerous things. They don't know the side effect. Like, as an adult, you know what could happen. So I'm there, I'm thinking, okay, what's the worst thing that could happen, right? You know, we can try to get it here. We can sleep in his car by the road, whatever, like. But this guy just looked terrified. He just like, we just need to get the hell out of here. And I'm like, I'm just getting scared. I'm like, this shouldn't be that big of a deal. Like, we can call, we can sleep. I'm just like, okay, it's a big deal to him. He's freaking out now. Look, I got scared now. Joel, like, everybody got scared. Joel's like, you know what, bro? Like, I'm gonna drive this car. We're not trying to get out of here. So the guy sitting in the front seat. I just keep looking at this guy. I just keep looking at him. I can just see his straight face. I'm like, this guy knows something we don't know. He knows something we don't know. And so Joel got in the front seat. Joel started driving the car. And he's driving the axle, just broken. The car is going like, we're going like 7 to 10 miles per hour. And it took us 3 hours to get there. And at that time, it's like around 10 o'clock p.m. You know, when it's like 7 o'clock, everything is dark. It's around 10 o'clock p.m. because we stayed so long in the village trying to find this Ira guy. So we driving, go on the road, just going literally 10 miles per hour. Just the car is just like, everybody's face is like straight, no music in the car. It's silent. We're just going. And this guy in the front seat just kept looking outside. Like, yo, man, and it's dark. And we're going, you know, just like the Liberia, the highway, that side, it's 2 lanes. So like, bush is coming all the way to the road. Bush is coming close to the road. So he's looking outside the window. He just kept looking in the view mirror, looking outside. I mean, it's pitch dark. No cars coming. We're the only car on that road. No car coming. And the car headlight it goes this far. Like, that's it. And we're just going. He's just looking in the view mirror. He's looking over. I'm like, what the hell? Like, we got to get out of here. And we started going. We spent like almost 5 hours. It going like 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. And then we started getting closer to the city. And we started getting a little more relief. We got back home like around 4, almost 5 a.m. We spent on our road. But we made it back home. We never got our drone. We never heard from Eric again. We might try to find Eric when we get back there next time. But that's the story. I don't know if, the ending is not climax and anti-climax, whatever the movie term is. But yeah, man, that was kind of like the weirdest thing that happened and weirdest day that happened. I still don't know what to make of it. Other than that, when we got back, we had fun, beautiful time. We enjoyed the country. We went places and we got more content for you guys and everything. One thing though is let me know if I should be telling more stories. I got a lot of stories. It doesn't all have to do with superstition or whatever. It's just everything. People and things that happen, interesting things, unique things that happen. I got a lot of stories. If you want me to stick to more of these mysterious, unique type storytelling, I can do that as well. There are a lot of folklore that's from Liberia. I want to keep it Liberia or Africa as a whole. I can draw from other stories that happen in Liberia and, second-handed down story. I can tell it, in between our normal content, right? Every now and then I need to do some content that is just something that is just, you just listen to and listen, on your nice day off and stuff like that. But there it is, guys. Thank you for sticking through. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for welcoming me back as a family. Appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Let me know again if you want me to do more storytelling. Also, I'm making more videos. Comment below what you want me to talk about, what topic you want me to talk about, and as I'm making these new videos. Because sometimes I get stuck. I don't know what to talk about, as far as topics and stuff like that. So comment below. Help me out. Just comment below. Hey, talk about this, talk about this, talk about that. That gives me more idea. But anyways, guys, I'm back. Expect more videos. I'm telling you, expect more videos from me. I'm bringing more content. We're going to do some podcasts. We're going to do some, we're working on a lot, right? So I know I keep saying that, but we're working on a lot. It's all going to come together. Be patient, and thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you guys. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.